Hey, what's up boys, back with another video, kind of a different angle over here in storage, and got this spoiler that I've never seen on YouTube. I've never really seen it until about a month ago. So my friend who I get parts from all the time, if you guys been following the channel, I do try to collect some rare parts, and I got a special thing for spoilers. So yeah, we got a spoiler here, so we're just gonna unwrap it. As you can see, he wrapped the hell out of it in duct tape. So I already kind of started. And then we're also going to go over some like history as well. But as you can see, this is a rear spoiler, so it's referred to as a hex spoiler in all the German magazines. Looks like he gave me a little air freshener, which you can't see on the video. That's pretty cool. And then a little lanyard thing that goes on the keychain. I'll bring in for that, but pretty cool. So thanks to Michael for that. All right, get the shit out of here. Like I said by the title of this video, this is a Vestatec spoiler, but as you can see on the box, it says Hapish. So as far as my understanding from what I was told, this is like a reseller, or they were like the seller of these Vestatec parts, I think in Germany or something like that. But all the boxes that you see of these spoilers, because this is a new old stock one that he found and a stock that he got, so all of them are just gonna say Hapish on the box. As far as different kits, I'll get into that later, like what types of E30s and other BMWs that they made kits for, but we're just gonna go ahead and open this up. I already opened up one side earlier. I've had it for about a week in storage. I just haven't got around to opening it. So we're here now, so we're gonna go ahead and pop her out. And then in this video, we're also as well going to go down to my friend's house and go ahead and do a test fit on his E30, since I currently have a spoiler on my E30 installed, so I can't test it on mine. So like I said, this is basically just going to be a piece for collecting, but I still wanted to grab it because I do really like the look of it, and like I said, it's a really unknown brand, like in general from tuning, and I just like the way it looked overall. So go ahead and get this plastic off. Should have brought my GoPro so we could have a front angle, but on my channel I try to show any kind of rare stuff that I get and try to do like little backgrounds or histories on them, just so people who are interested in either 80s tuning for German cars or just E30 parts in general. I do try to do these, as you could maybe see back here, maybe not. Got a late model BBS kit back there for the E30. Got some side skirts, got some early model BBS side skirts for another build. So yeah, I want to keep this fairly clean. And it's my first time, like I said, seeing it in person, so I didn't see it until about a couple months ago when he showed me it. I originally thought it was the E28 spoiler, but turns out it wasn't. All right. This is a foam spoiler, similar to how like the Zender spoiler that's on my car is. A little dusty, a little 1980s dust, but here's what she looks like. I'll bring you up obviously closer, but this is just for the unboxing process. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and test it in my friend's car. And this is definitely a really old one, because right here in the little roundel it says dated in '83. So it's definitely older than my my BBS stuff. And then there's the badge down here with the part number and everything. But like I said, I might do some comparisons to my other spoilers that are over there, but I don't really want to get too many out. But this is a fairly long spoiler, so it does go basically from the outside hips of the car, and then it goes that entire way. So I didn't pay too much for this spoiler, but it's definitely a different look and something that you wouldn't really see on any cars unless they had a Vestatec kit on it. Like I said, which is fairly rare. So yeah, let me get the tripod from down there and bring it in closer to see what she looks like, and then we're gonna go over some other things. Like I have an original ad that you probably can't see, but I got an original ad for Vestatec. That the same kit that this is from, but there's just a couple different ads that I've seen because there's not too many ads, at least online, to check for. So yeah, really light spoiler, not heavy at all. It looks like it has a piece of metal in the middle of it, and then it's just the foam injection mold around it. And also this does not have any studs, so that means it does get glued directly to, or 3M tape like my Zender spoiler, directly to the car. So let's get the camera, bring you over here in close, and then get some little looks on it, and then we'll kind of go over some history of the kit and Vestatec as a company, and then we'll go ahead and I'll have this to my friend's house, and we're going to test fit it on his late model sedan. So let's bring in. All right, so we got you in for a closer look here. Like I said, this is a fairly long spoiler. It's definitely longer than like ones that just go on the deck lid itself. Like I said, this overlaps the fenders on the outside like my Zender and like a BBS does. I'll bring my BBS over for reference, but it's back there behind the drum set. But like I said, never seen this spoiler before, and it is part of this kit, but we'll get into that here in a second. So yeah, like I said, it's a pretty standard looking spoiler. It's nothing like too flashy, but it's definitely like a bigger spoiler, and it kind of has like the same angle as like the Alpina one. So I thought that was kind of cool. Go ahead and flip you over on the other side. The back is pretty much, I would say, flat. So you can see this part comes down over the fenders. That's where that would come down, and then this part would basically go on the hips of the car. So kind of looks cool. So we're gonna go ahead and test fit this here in about a week when I go to his house, and should be pretty dope. But yeah, when we flip you over and look at the markings, since there is decent lighting in here. Like I said, here is, well, it's kind of upside down, but as you can see, 1983, so that's when this spoiler was made. So basically at the beginning of the E30 phase, or the E30 generation, which is pretty cool to know that these are like basically one of the first kits for the E30s, I guess, because obviously they came out, at least in the US, they came out in 84. So if this was made in 83, that means it was already being made as soon as the E30 came out, which is pretty dope. All right, let's go ahead and stop you down. Alright, she might be a little bit washed out, but here we go. Vestatec BMW, it doesn't say what it is, which is weird. But Vestatec, then it has the type 18063. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a picture up right now. This is the original ad that I found originally on Instagram from one of my friends who posts like rare pictures and everything. That's where I originally found what the spoiler looked like and like what it came off of, because I thought, like originally, like I said, I thought it was an E28 spoiler. But I do have another friend that has the Vestatec front end on his car, and he also has one of these new old stock spoilers. So I do quite like these spoilers, and they don't go for too much, but I guess they're kind of hard to find, and sometimes you can find them in Germany, and then people don't really care too much about their like currency on these, so they're pretty cheap if you get them. I pay a little bit more than what I should have for this one, but I had a good deal with some money coming back to me, so I only basically paid $200 out of pocket, so I'm happy with it. And like I said, E30 spoilers were kind of my thing, so. But yeah, pretty dope little spoiler. We'll go ahead and test fit this over at Ryan's house sometime this week, and that'll be the end of this video. But in the meantime, we're gonna talk about this original ad that I found from the same person. He also had a Vestatec catalog, and he decided to sell me this. So this is the kit that it came off of for the early model, like I said. So the front end, we actually do have one for sale. So if you guys watch this when the video comes out, we do have one for sale. So if you are interested on that, hit me up on Instagram. It is a pretty dope look, but I'm doing a BBS kit for early model, so I don't need it. But side skirts are okay. They do go up the fenders, kind of like the BBS ones and the MTEC ones. But yeah, it says 3 series from 82 to 85. This, like I said, this is the original ad. Then we got the back spot. Go ahead and turn this down. There we go. Kind of like a ugly drain wheels or whatever, but styling kit. I think this is all in German. The front spoiler, a little closer look at that. A little bit closer look at the side skirts. And then the rear spoiler, which is not the spoiler. So I guess that was the second spoiler or the first spoiler that they made. I assume that would be the second one since this was made in '83, but I don't know. I think they just made 2 different styles for the E30. Let's see, universal. So this might be the universal one. Let's double check the part number on this again. $18,603. So it doesn't list it out of these 2 spoilers, but like I said, it is on the other ad that I showed you guys that I popped up on the screen. So pretty cool little ad that I got, so that's pretty cool for that. And it's nice to actually see the spoiler in person, so I'm definitely happy I got it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do some product shots or whatever so I can post them on Instagram and Reddit so I can share it with the other people who like E30 stuff. And like I said, we'll go ahead and go to Ryan's house and test fit. But I also am going to go back and tell you about this other Vestatec vehicle, like towards the end of the video, or before I go down to Ryan's. I'm not sure. Actually, let's go ahead and get the BBS spoiler so we can kind of compare them. Now, just for a little comparison, kind of like a size comparison of the difference between the Vestatec and just a BBS spoiler. So it's definitely a bigger spoiler, but as far as like width, it's definitely the same size as the BBS. So basically it's the same size as the BBS, so it should be about the same size as the Zender. I think it's around like 53 inches or something like that. I'd have to measure it later and put the specs or whatever down. But yeah, like I said, next clip I'm gonna kind of go over another thing about Vestatec, and then just one of the cool builds that they did, and then we will be going ahead and, like I said, test fitting this. So yeah, pretty cool. But just wanted to upload this video just for history's sake, just because I'm really big into E30 history, and spoilers are like definitely one of my favorite E30 parts to collect. So far I have the BBS, which is going on a build, now the Vestatec, 2 Kame 3-piece spoilers, both new old stock, and then I think that's it, because I did sell my other E28 M-Tech spoiler to be able to get actually these BBS parts right here. So yeah, just got the rear BBS valance for the E30. So side skirts, more side skirts. Place definitely needs cleaned up, but that's not what this video is about. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this back up until I take it to Ryan's house, and then do a test fit, do little clips or whatever, little cinematic clips, and see how they feel, or see how they come out, and then see how Ryan feels about the spoiler also. And who knows, maybe I'll get more of these spoilers or whatever. Wouldn't mind having another one or two if I can get it for a decent price or cheaper. But yeah, I do have one more spoiler on my bucket list to collect, which is the FOA 3-piece spoiler. One of my friends did happen to get one, but just way more money than what I want to spend for a 3-piece spoiler, especially because I was getting the BBS rear at that time. So yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. Let's get on to the next clip and then test fit her up. Oh, also before I go, kind of look at the box, just what the original box looked like. So it is Hapiche branded, which I'm not even sure what Hapiche is. Like I said, I was just told they were a reseller. But yeah, BMW 3 Series 1182. And then you got your TUV mark, which obviously everything coming from Germany was has to be like inspected or whatever you would call it. So yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of the box too. Fuck it. Alright boys, so the test fit went well. It wasn't the greatest because it was just kind of sitting on there. We didn't tape it down or anything. This car is pretty dirty, so it was kind of humped up in the center, but I think it looks pretty decent on the E30, and obviously you don't see them really often at all, so that's the main reason I'm doing this video. Got my E30 back here. As you can see, there's a Zender spoiler on it right now, so that's why I couldn't do it on mine. But the last thing I just want to kind of go over with is a little project that Vestatec did back in the day. This is back in the, I don't know, I assume like the early 80s, like somewhere around maybe 85 or 84. But they did what they called a Magnum coupe, which I got all the stuff right here. I'll put up pictures while I'm talking and everything, but they did the Magnum coupe, which was basically just an E30. Then they kind of extended the nose out of it, and then the rear they did like a little like an extension on the back, kind of like the M3, but it had a I guess like louvers, but they were like part of the body, but it was also like a little flap, so it was kind of like a hatchback part. But it came with like a beefed up engine and everything, so it came with the motor out of the H35 Harka, which is the 3.5 liter, which is the M30 motor, which is not the M20. So the M30 motor from the Harka H35, and it was rated at I'll put up like the everything while I'm talking at the same time, but it was rated at 250 horsepower and let's see, 360 newton meters at 4,100 RPM for the torque. So not a slouch by any means. And I'll be sure to leave this link down below if you guys want to check out like the actual pictures of the ad and all that good stuff. But 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds, which is pretty decent because I think the stock M20, I think somewhere like 8 seconds or 7.5 seconds for 0 to 60. Might have been a little bit more than that. I don't remember the exact times, but also came with the Harka Koni Sport suspension, alloy wheels with the turbo effect for brake and cooling. So I kind of like those wheels. I definitely have seen one on a lot of different cars, like the Vestatec wheels, and the furnace just turned on. But yeah, it came with 15x7 wheels with 205 50s. And then it came with a 5-speed, of course, with a rear LSD with a 40% locking effect. And there was also a separate oil cooling system with an electric pump for the M30 itself, so that's pretty dope. Obviously, it was a little bit longer than the E30, but only in the front, so it kind of looks like almost like a Ford Escort in the front of the car, and then the rear just pretty much looks exactly the same as normal. It just has like the extended louver part that came down with the different spoilers. So this is definitely a cool looking little car. Like I said, I'll put all the pictures while I'm talking, so I don't have to put my phone up like an idiot. I did see they do this project for like another type of car, like a Mitsubishi or something like that, where they made the body look different and they kind of like did like an upgrade on it. So they're basically just like making a better version of the E30 with their own twist on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. The car looks decent. I don't see it like really looks ugly. It has the pop-up headlamp, so it's kind of like a I don't know, almost looks like a Ford Escort to me. And of course the stupid furnace, so hopefully you can still hear me. But yeah, it was a cool looking car. And as far as parts, like I said, they did have kits for E28 in the magazine, E21, E30, and then of course like they make parts as well for other cars, because I think from what I was reading, they were a Japanese like aftermarket parts, so they do have parts for like FC RX-7s or FD, whatever one the first one was. They got parts for those, like spoilers and everything. So they did a lot of different parts, and apparently nowadays they're still making parts, but they're making like parts for like all the companies. Like they would make like the OEM parts and just make the bumpers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool that they're still doing stuff this many years later. But yeah, a couple other things in the car. Had a Harka 4-spoke wheel, which is pretty decent looking. And like I said, back in the 80s, there was a lot of different tuners that did stuff with E30s and kind of, I don't know, just like made their little adjustments to the car to make their own little version. Like my friend just bought a PH, which is like a Pruiser Hauser or something. There was another tuner in the 80s, and they kind of did like the same thing with similar motor swap and things like that, where they would just obviously beef up the horsepower and everything, because a lot of companies did that, like Alpina and Harka and AC Schnitzer and Racing Dynamics. And just the 80s was a really cool time for the E30, where there's a lot of different companies coming in to do either aerodynamics or like make their own version of the car, which I thought was pretty cool. And just the amount of aftermarket support with these cars is pretty astonishing. So that's like the main reason I like covering all of it and learning stuff about the history. But I would like to collect a Vestatec catalog, like I said, or maybe even a version of this with this the Magnum in it. I think that would be pretty cool. because these are obviously all just scans, so I think it'd be cool to have the original thing. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that and cover that little part of their history, and that they're still making parts nowadays. Obviously not like body kits, but they make a lot of different parts for I think that they said that they were the biggest distributor for like stock body parts that they make for other cars nowadays, which I think is pretty awesome. So, but yeah, like I said, I'll leave this link down below so you guys can check that out if you guys want to read it. That's pretty much the end of this video. Just wanted to get this knocked out so we can go ahead and upload the video. The next video is going to be an install video on the E30 back here itself. It's getting some new wheels on it, and sadly it's already October 17th, so they won't even be on there for like more than a month. And then they're gonna have to come back off, and then the car's gonna be in storage for the winter because I don't drive it in the winter time. So, but yeah, anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys do like history, I do like to try to cover like any kind of parts I get. Like I said, spoilers are like my favorite thing to collect because they're easy and I can put them in a box, and they're not, you know, they don't take up too much space or whatever. I can just throw them in storage, and then yeah, everything's pretty good. So I guess thanks for watching the video, guys. Be sure to check out the links down below. Check me out on Instagram, follow me on Reddit and all that stuff, because I do post on there like for photography stuff and just stuff with the car in general. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Check the links down below, and peace.